Hey you guys, what's up? I'm here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 8 Part 3 reunion. Um, Once again, I didn't give you guys Part 2 because I was sick and I do apologize for that. But ain't nothing really that damn important happened in Part 2 any goddamn way. I mean, really, they could have kept this 3-part bullshit or whatever, but y'all know how Real Housewives of Atlanta do. They like to drag out every fuck. They like to drag out the season. They like to drag out the reunion special. I hope they don't do this with the Potomac girls. Like, drag out their reunion special. But I don't know. We'll see. Um, but yeah, let's just get into this. So Nene, she's coming in to join the conversation or whatever. She has on like this sequence, see-through white jumpsuit thing going on. Um, it didn't look bad on her, but it's the way her body is built. She is, kind of wide. You know what I'm saying? But I like the jumpsuit. I just, not on her so much. Like I said, it wasn't bad, but it's just the way she's built. It's not built for somebody that, you know. But that outfit that she had on comes in the second place of her look that she had last year. The look that she had last year, I think, is her best look on the reunion to date. So yeah, but Nene, I mean not Nene, Candy has to go to the back to pump her little boobies or whatever. Well, not little boobies, but her boobies. Pump the milk out or whatever, the Similac. They start talking about Sheree and Nene's history and the ups and downs they went through, and you fix that face, you fix that body or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and how they still consider each other friends and everything. So that was cool. They get into Nene and Cynthia's relationship. They start talking about Kenya's comment about Nene being a backstabber. Nene feels otherwise. She feels like she didn't backstab Cynthia. She feels like Kenya is just looking at shit from one side because she only knows what Cynthia has told her. But at the same time, Nene, we have seen you kind of backstab Cynthia and say a lot of things about her. I mean, not to say she hasn't said stuff about you too, but her saying stuff about you when y'all was going through that beef was more so a rebuttal to the stuff that you were saying about her. You know what I mean? So, excuse me, I understood where Kenya was coming from on that. They talk about how Cynthia calls herself of the the president of the flip flop committee and all this other stuff, and Cynthia, she owns up to the comment, the comment that she made in Jamaica by saying that her and Kenya are still getting to know each other and everything. She says that she said she should have clarified more what she was saying. She says that her and Kenya are not BFFs, but they are very close and that she does love her. Kenya and Kenya and Nene, they're in the better place. They talk about how they have their moms in common. How both of them didn't have their moms growing up and everything. What else happened? Neither one of Kenya or Sheree's houses is finished. The Moore Manor or Chateau Sheree, neither one of them shits is finished, and I kind of figured neither one of their houses would be finished. Kenya said that her house is gonna be finished on March 5th, but I haven't heard nothing. I haven't seen the blogs post about it or anything. Do y'all know if her house is done or not? And the same thing, Sheree, she said that her house is supposed to be done within 3 to 4 weeks. I was like, you've been working on this damn house since you was first on the goddamn show. So, I mean, I'm just saying. But, I mean, y'all let me know if either one of their houses is finished. I don't think even still, we in April now. But anyways, what else happened? They talk about Portia and Phaedra's friendship, and Phaedra, she makes that crazy sound again that she made in Jamaica, that rah 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 rah. I'm telling you, that shit killed me when she did that shit in Jamaica. I was like, what the hell? And when I was watching the shit, I was like, what the hell? What kind of noise is that? I was like, Phaedra, girl, she be coming up with some crazy catchphrases, crazy noises, and all this other shit or whatever. But they asked Candy, does watching Phaedra and Portia make her miss their friendship? And Candy says no, she just misses the friendship in general. How things were. They start talking about the things that the girls would wear, like to the beach or whatever, like with Phaedra when she wore the thong or whatever. Was it? I think they was in Miami, right, when Phaedra had on that thong bathing suit or whatever, and also Portia, she kind of had the same attire going on or whatever, and Kim was pretty much saying that it's about expressing yourself and all this other stuff. And so people, at that moment, Candy kind of felt like she was flip-flopping on her stance or whatever, because in one breath you sit up here and say, that's classless or whatever, and then the next breath you sit up here saying, people expressing themselves, this, that, and the third. And which I understand that, and like I said, I do understand how people could see Kim coming off as judgmental. It does really come off that way. Now, whether Kim purposely tries to be judgmental, I don't know. I don't think she does, but some people feel like that she really is just judgmental. And Nene, she kind of started shading a little bit. She was like, well, yeah, I'm surprised, you even sit up here and say that you understand them expressing themselves or whatever, because just in the clip we was watching, you was sitting up here saying, that's classless, Nene be making them damn faces she be making. Rah, 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 rah. Child. I tell you, y'all be talking about Candy and the faces she be making. No, Nene be making some faces too now. Excuse me. They start talking about Portia or whatever. The comment that Nene had made where on Watch What Happens Live, where Nene was like that Portia has changed, it changed in some ways good, some ways bad. And Portia, she really felt that Nene was judging her, and she felt some type of way about that, because she felt like, people sit up here and call her a hoe because she twerks and all this. Like, she's not married anymore. I mean, yeah, when she was married, she was kind of uptight and everything, but now that she's single, she is trying to find herself and explore and everything, and she gets called a hoe for twerking. And I mean, let's be honest here, twerking does not equivalent with am I saying the word right? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It doesn't measure up to being a hoe or a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be twerking in the club. Twerking is a dance. It's a form of dancing. That doesn't make nobody a hoe or anything like that. But I will say other actions that Portia has shown on this show does kind of make her seem a little thottish. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the twerking stuff, yeah, that doesn't make her a hoe and everything. I don't know. Maybe because Portia just twerks whenever, wherever. But even still, that doesn't make somebody a hoe or a thought. But anyways, they bring the guys on the show. Matt, he brings everybody flowers or whatever. I am starting to see what people is talking about with him, though. He do seem a little kind of slow and delayed in his responses or whatever. Because Andy, I was trying to think of his name, but Andy, he was saying, to him, so how are you and Peter? Have you guys, are you guys, okay now or whatever, this, that, and third? And Matt was kind of a little bit delayed in answering it. He kind of sat there for a minute, and he was like, "Who is Peter?" And Andy, everybody, they all looking confused, like, "What? Peter's right here. Like, what are you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? And he kept on saying that for a minute, and then he was like, "It's Uncle Ben." I said, "Lord, that damn Matt is something else." But yeah, he been watching the show. Um, and they all laughed about that or whatever. Matt says that he is in love with Kenya. Kenya is in love with him. They talk about Sheree and Bob. Then Kim and Chris's relationship or marriage or whatever. They start talking about the gay comments or whatever. Kenya says that she didn't make up the rumor. It's stuff that she heard. It's all on Google and all this other stuff. Kenya, she talked about Chris's behavior. The reason why the other ladies started saying what they were saying when they all had their conversation was because of because of his behavior earlier. And that's when Nene expresses something that happened that didn't air on TV where Chris, I guess, I don't know if they were on the bus or something. I can't remember where she said that they was at, but I think it was her, Phaedra, and Portia, if I'm not mistaken. They was with Chris or whatever, and he was like, talking about the air conditioning and everything, and he started kind of going back and forth with them, and she was like, that he, she said to him, like, is that a read or whatever, and she was like, that he was like, yes, it's a read or whatever, and Kim was saying that he pretty much was just mocking them, or whatever, what else happened? Chris, he starts to ask Kenya about who calls him Chrissy, like what mutual friends that they have call him Chrissy, and Kenya, she did kind of started to backpedal a little bit or whatever, act like she couldn't answer the motherfucking question, and then that's when Matt gonna sit up here and jump in and talk about she already answered the question or whatever, and Chris, he was like, but I'm talking to Kenya, son, and then Matt was like, well, I'm talking to you, son. Like, I was just like, why is y'all talking like y'all from New York? Well, I don't know if they from New York or not, but I mean, they don't strike me like guys that are from New York. I don't know, maybe Matt, I don't know. But yeah, they was, the whole son thing and trying to put a little accent on the shit like they from New York like that or some shit. I was just like, okay. But anyways, and he starts sitting up here saying that, he was saying, address me or whatever. I'm like, why the fuck would he address you? And Kenya was the one who said the shit. You know what I'm saying? What else happened? Kim, she, says, play the motherfucking tape back because, on one breath, I think Kenya was saying, 10 years back that this was a rumor or whatever, but then the tape, she said 20 years, so yeah, the shit wasn't added up, and because 10 years ago, she wasn't on Living Single, Kim Fields wasn't on Living Single or whatever, and when, and then, and even, let me get my words together, I'm moving too fast, but, when Kim was on Living Single, I think we all pretty much know she wasn't with Chris at the time. He wasn't even thought about. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, she wasn't with Chris at the time. You know what I'm saying? She was with him in the early 2000s, I believe, right? Maybe might have got with him maybe 2005, 2006 or something like that. So, yeah. They asked Kenya, pretty much everybody on the couch that was involved had apologized. They always try to put the blame on Kenya, and I'm just like, well, y'all all had something to say. Excluding Cynthia, and we can't exclude Sheree, even though Sheree tried to sit up here and say that, oh, she ain't say shit. But Sheree, you became a part of the foolishness once you Googled the shit. Now, maybe you wasn't a big chunk of that whole conversation or whatever, but once you Googled the shit, you became a part of that fuckery. You know what I'm saying? So, pretty much the only one that was excluded from that was Cynthia. Because she didn't say shit. You know what I'm saying? but they all pretty much they all apologized except for Kenya. Andy, he asked like, why didn't you apologize or whatever, and she was like, well, because they were pretty much trying to accuse me of lying and all this other stuff. But what does that have to do with you giving him an apology for accusing him of being gay? And then she, gave this half-ass apology, like Andy was trying to check her. Like when she started giving the apology, Andy was like, hold up, that don't sound like a real apology. That sound like some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And Kenya was like, no, I mean, I was just like, girl, the apology that she gave was some bullshit. And I was just like, pretty much Andy, he puts all of them in check or whatever. He puts all of them in check. He was like, y'all all have this gay bashy thing with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And, pretty much he was like, it's not cool or whatever. He pretty much put them all in check about that. They all, and y'all do. Y'all all had this kind of gay bashy thing with y'all or whatever. And Chris, he also apologized to his, because apparently Chris, he has some, gay friends or whatever. And he apologized to them for them having the, how that whole situation may have affected them. I was like, good for you, Chris. That's good for you, because like I said, I agree with some of the other, like I said earlier on with some of the other YouTubers, we have to stop putting black men in this box. We have to stop sitting up here just automatically assuming a guy is gay if they're not as masculine as the next motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We have to stop doing that as a whole. You know what I mean? But anyways, they talk about the Christmas party or whatever. They play back when Candy was on Watch What Happens Live, and that's where Candy, pretty much had spilled the beans where Apollo's motorcycle was in her and Todd's house, and then Cynthia and Peter had some of their stuff, so that's how the feds probably found out and everything. And so I mean, maybe Phaedra didn't call. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, either way, the shit was aired before. You know what I'm saying? I think that I can't remember if that was before this season, that Watch What Happens Live episode, or if that episode was going on during the season. But either way, that's probably how they found out. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't know. Phaedra, she feels like I wouldn't do that. We supposed to be friends or whatever, regardless of where we're at in our relationship. I would never call the feds on you or nothing like that. Like, you really would think that of me, you know what I'm saying? And that's where, Candy got into the fact that, Todd had made some tweets, like, I guess, about Phaedra that day. Phaedra was pissed off, and she was like, next thing you know, the next day, the feds knocking at my door. So that's why I feel like Phaedra called them or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It could have just been a coincidence, or, I mean, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. What else was said? And you guys know that technically Todd and Phaedra, they were friends first. You know what I'm saying? Before Candy and Phaedra were friends. It's just that Candy and Phaedra got closer. You know what I'm saying? They start talking about this tape again. Phaedra was like, well, you was hanging out with my husband at the bars and the strip clubs or whatever. Why didn't you ask him about the money, this, that, and the third? And Todd was like, because this was business between me and you. And I guess Phaedra was trying to say that, at one point, Apollo was helping editing the video or whatever. And Todd was like, no, the fuck he was not. But regardless, his names was not in the emails that we had or whatever. This is between me and you. And they both... When Phaedra started pulling out emails, Todd attempted to pull out emails, but he put them back in his pocket because Candy told him to shut the fuck up for a minute because I'm about to put this bitch in check. And she started going in on Phaedra and how you want to sit up here, a week before the reunion. It's mighty funny how you want to sit up here and write him his last check or whatever. And I was like, yeah, Phaedra. You wait a week before the reunion to write him his last check just so you can come up there and say, hey, I paid him all his money or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, when that shit should have been handled a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, with this whole friendship period, they both, Candy and Phaedra, both have handled shit wrong. Um, but Todd, he was saying, you sit up here knowing everything that's going on in my house, but you live with Apollo and you ain't know what the fuck he was doing. I was like, because I mean, I feel like Phaedra knew what the fuck Apollo's was doing. And I don't think she could sit up here and tell me or anybody else otherwise. How you married to the man and live with him and see his ass every goddamn day, you ain't know what the fuck he was doing. But of course I know she's not gonna admit that, because of course then she can get in trouble, So if they can't find the evidence to prove that she knew, then she gonna, so I can't be mad at her about that. But what else happened? They start talking about Portia's altercation with her friend that didn't air on TV. They actually show it. She got into it where she fought her friend, and I guess somebody who also worked for her. The girl name is Jamie. She was saying there was a lot of disrespect being thrown, and that's why the shit happened. Nene says that she never, laid hands on, when she was giving her input, and she said that she never laid hands on anybody or whatever. And then Portia, gonna sit up here and say, well, didn't you choke somebody? Nene was like, first of all, I never choked anybody. Did you ever see that on TV? Was there ever a clip thrown out there of me choking somebody? And she was like, and if I ever did, I was smart enough not to have that shit on camera, unlike you. I was like, ooh. But that is true, though, What else happened? Phaedra, she says that Portia did tell her that she does have a problem or whatever. So she, so Portia, decided to take up anger management classes and, to treat it. I'm like, why do they keep on saying treat it? Like as if this is a damn, illness or disease or some shit. Like, the bitch just got fucking anger issues. She don't know how to keep her fucking hands to herself. Child, they were treating this shit like it was like she an alcoholic or some shit. Child, but anyways, what else happened? I'm looking at my notes here. I'm sorry. Candy, she gives an opinion on how she feel about Portia and the shit that she's gotten into or whatever. Cynthia and Kenyon, they both say they feel uncomfortable around Portia or whatever. The other girls, they was like, they don't feel uncomfortable around her because if she tried that shit with them, it's on and popping. Portia, she wasn't really taking responsibility for her actions. She was kind of pointing the finger at everybody else, and it's like, yes, the people that you were in these situations with, they need to take full responsibility, just like you need to take full responsibility. Now, the situation that happened with Kenya, I understood that completely because she was being very provoking by pointing that scepter in your face and doing the thing with the bullhorn. She was in your personal space. I get that. Situation with Cynthia, y'all both were wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because she got turned up more than what the fuck she needed to. But you did stand over top of her. And anybody would have did something. You can't just stand over top of folks and not expect something to happen. You know what I'm saying? So you ended up getting in somebody's personal space then. And in this third situation, just because a whole bunch of disrespect was going on, like, especially if this is somebody who's supposed to be your friend and your employee, you know what I mean? Like, that's just unprofessional. And Nene was telling her, like, you have got to get in control of your anger because people are not going to want to work with you or whatever. And that is true. People are not going to work with Portia if they keep on seeing her display this behavior. You know what I'm saying? I know I was reading in the comments on Facebook though, some people felt like people was ganging up on Portia or whatever. I could see how people may feel like it was a gang up Asian, as Whitney Williams. She always put Asian at the end of words and shit. I could see how people would feel like that, but at the same time, like I said, Portia has to take up and own up, just like the other people that she was in these situations with. They have to own up too. Everybody got to stop pointing the finger, because nobody's innocent here. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? But Kim, she does acknowledge the fact that Portia took the initiative to go to counseling and everything. She was like, I feel like everybody's missing the big point here. At least she's making the effort. Pretty much what, Kim was saying and everything. And I thought that, that was cool, whatever. They end the show on their final thoughts or whatever. Nobody really care about that bullshit. I hope and pray to God we don't have to talk about this bullshit with Kenya. Kenya and Portia. I hope we ain't gotta talk about this bullshit no more. Coming next season with Candy and Phaedra. Like, this shit is getting, all this shit is getting old. It's continuously being dragged out, and it seems like the shit with Peter and Cynthia is going to be dragged out, because it seems like now they are separated at this point. You know what I'm saying? So but I'm tired of that shit. I'm just they need to revamp this whole show, or just I don't know, y'all, but I've been talking for 26 minutes. I don't even know how. But you guys make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys come back, and I will see you guys in the next video.